Hello there, and welcome everybody to today's virtual Space Hero LinkedIn live stream. My name is Barbara Covarrubias, and I'm happy to moderate today's discussion. And some of you might imagine that today is really a super special day for me and a super special live stream because Virtual Space Hero is a big baby of mine already, but this is a bigger baby of mine that I created together with a colleague 3 years ago, and we extended the team. And today we're going to talk about a large-scale international global virtual teaching project. And it's called the Global Case Study Challenge. And some of you have already been so kind to commenting on our post from this morning, because yesterday we received another award, and this is the third award in a row. So it's like a tremendous pleasure to have with me here together, and that's the moment when I'm opening the virtual doors to my colleague from directly connecting from Carinthia, Eithne Knappitsch, and there she comes.
Hi, hello Barbara, nice to see you.
Hey there, so good to see you being back in Carinthia, even though all your trip was without Wi-Fi, I heard, right?
I know, terrible. I couldn't believe in this day and age that there are still trains without any Wi-Fi. But yeah, but I survived. I survived.
You must know, Eithne and me, we met for the first time in month, as probably many of us, yesterday night when we were receiving the award for digital transformation in teaching and national state prize for excellence in teaching in Vienna. And that was really a tremendous moment, right? Because we were having conference calls every week for the past 7 months, probably, but we have never seen each other physically, right, Eithne?
I know it was so nice actually yesterday just to be on site, to be together, have at least some visual contact. No, it was really lovely. And I know we're careful about all of the COVID-19 requirements and restrictions. I have to say they did a very good job yesterday of conducting the event and keeping everybody, at the right distance and following all the instructions.
Absolutely, absolutely. And also at this point, so the Global Case Study Challenge is a project that has been growing for the past three years tremendously, I would say. Eithne, you still remember when we started 3 years ago together with Marcelo Baudino from
Yeah.
Argentina?
Yeah, I know. Time has flown by, and it was wonderful to do the first sort of round with Marcelo Bodino. He was great. It was great to have the students, join our Austrian students and have such an international group. And I think the Global Case Study Challenge has progressed and developed so much since then. I know we'll talk about that later.
Absolutely, absolutely. And well, what was your impression from yesterday? Before we go into the details about our teaching project, how did you feel yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, it was an absolute honor, right, to receive an award. And I think particularly in terms of the actual, we were shortlisted for the Ars Docendi. That's amazing. It's a national state teaching award. And because it was in digital transformation in teaching, I thought it was even more valuable, just considering, how much discussion there is at the minute about moving teaching online, about developing teaching and learning strategies for the online environment. So I really enjoyed that. And I think it was a total honor as well to have the Minister for Education, Mr. Fassmann, there. I was a bit surprised at some of the comments, and there was a lot of potential for discussion, but it was absolutely lovely. Great. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. But so maybe I know I already see there are people connecting today from 3 channels. We always have LinkedIn here, of course. We have YouTube and Facebook viewers with us. So let's just give a very, very short intro to what our project is about. So we have been, as we said, we've been starting the project 3 years ago. It was Marcelo Baudino from Argentina. We were 100 students. from Argentina and 2 universities in Austria, so 3 institutions. And we started by dividing them up into global virtual teams. They worked together for like a period of 1.5 months. And at the end, they presented their results in a final virtual conference. That was 3 years ago. And I still can remember how appreciative the comments were that we received from the students, because many of them have never been involved in a global scale teaching project or in global virtual teams. And the digital component of our teaching project, of course, is of super high value. So last year, there was the second edition starting in October. We already grew, imagine, from 90 students to more than 300 students, which was an amazing, and it was an explosion of interest in our project, right, Eithne? And
Yeah.
it was crazy. And we had universities from Japan to Chile participating, in total 12 universities participating with their students in our project. And you remember we already had a few like changes in the didactical concept, right, from the first to the second edition.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think one of the things that the expansion of the project brought was a lot more interdisciplinarity. You know, initially we had started off just with international business students, and then we incorporated master's level, bachelor level. We also had PhD candidates. Also, the diversity of the group increased, and I think after the first run through, we really started to focus a lot more on what sort of digital tools and digital competences that the students need. So we maybe moved the focus a little bit more away from just, from the international and intercultural competence development, and really started to think about things like digital leadership, how to manage a digital environment, creating trust in virtual teams. And as you said, I think the students are incredibly appreciative of having the opportunity to work in this real life environment. And I think we haven't even talked about the sort of capstone event at the end. Barbara, maybe you want to mention as well the virtual conference.
And of course, the virtual conference last year was incredible because we had 250 students participating in a virtual conference that was organized for them like a real academic or practitioner conference. So we had an amazing keynote speaker. It was Torsten Collins, a very good friend of mine from the company YouNoodle, that is a San Francisco-based startup or global company only operating virtually. He was our practitioner keynote speaker kicking off the conference. And then the students were split up. Of course, we had some nice activities at the beginning, right, Eithne, together with some Mentimeter survey. And students then were split up into the several tracks where the professors and a producer was supporting them by presenting their case studies. And so we had a real virtual event for like 3.5 hours with a final closing ceremony that was a discussion in the main hall with everybody together. And also that was for all the students. I think 2 of them have been in virtual conferences before. It was a tremendous experience because we were not used to that before. And with that said, we have been growing and changing also our didactical concept. So last year, we embedded new milestones that students had to work on. So for example, the virtual collaboration component. And this year, for example, we started also to focus more on the aspect of virtual team building. So we have embedded a new step that is a virtual team building lecture, on which base the students need to do their own virtual team building within their group and submit a video reflection about that. And I think that is a critical point that we also changed from last year to this year, right?
Yeah, and I think the nice thing is we really took into consideration the feedback that the students were giving us. We looked at really what sort of challenges that they were also experiencing while working on the case study challenge, and we knew that trust building in their teams was one of the areas that needed most improvement. So we've really tried to push ahead with that and really provide the students with new tools, and also sort of, if you like, force them to really consider actual team building activities for themselves. And the nice thing is, I think we maybe haven't mentioned that we try to get the students to self-direct their learning. So while we give them a lot of input, we give them the tools and this, we talk about the skills necessary, we still get them to self-direct all of these activities.
Yeah, absolutely. And this year in the third edition, there are many more changes. We are starting the 2nd of October. So if there are any last minute interest parties or lectures out there, get in touch with us, leave us a comment here, and we can see how our schedule might fit into your teaching program at bachelor, master, or PhD level. And with that also, Eithne, from last year, we have extended a lot. So we were talking about how we extended our program, the didactical concept changed. We are having this year probably 400 students participating from universities as far as from India, from our point of view, to Chile again. So really across the globe, a truly global experience. And with that increase of student numbers, university partners, we are also super happy because we increased our core team of 2, right?
Yay! Woohoo! Yes, we have an absolutely fantastic, unbelievably valuable new additions to our project team.
And the first person I love to invite to our stage, and with this I'm opening the virtual doors, is a professor connecting from Barcelona, Spain, who was a participant last year and joined us this year in the organizing team, in the core team of the Global Case Study Challenge. Anna, welcome on our stage here.
Hello. Nice to see you and thank you for this opportunity. It's amazing. I'm learning every day with our team, and it's true. Last year, I had an honor to be part from the side of professors to participate in Global Case Study Challenge. And it was already a growing opportunity, learning opportunity for my students, definitely, to go outside of our Spanish borders and meet students, as you talked, Barbara, from Chile to Japan and Russia as well. So it's not always possible to do in the classroom, right? Even though we have Erasmus exchange happening, it's not the same as to be able to work in such diverse groups as we provide them. And this year, I'm happy to see all the magic that is happening behind the closed doors of the Global Case Study Challenge. Yes, it's really amazing.
And we, of course, are super thankful because Anna is our Canvas heroine in this case, because without Anna we switched to Canvas, the learning management system, this year, and Anna is setting up the whole Canvas. And besides that, to say she's not only a very talented professor and a global virtual team member, but she's also a tremendous web designer, because if you go to www.globalcasestudychallenge.com, that's all her work. So thanks again for that as well, Anna.
Thank you. If you have any doubts or opposing things, tell me. I will try to make it. It's my first website ever. Yeah, it's funny.
A tremendous job. Anna, if you think about your experience from last year to this year, so you were participating for the first time in a global, in a large-scale global teaching project. And how was that for you? And what is it this year that challenges you, where you're growing the most?
Last year, it was amazing that we are used to collaborate here in universities, again, thanks to European exchange programs with other institutions, but usually it's collaboration between the same type of degree. So if I'm teaching currently in the School of Tourism of Universidad Autónoma de Barcelona. So from there, we have a lot of collaboration with tourism school. So, but last year, as you increase the diversity of different type of bachelor degrees, master programs, and even PhD students were joining, but they were not exactly from tourism degrees. So it also gave me opportunity to network and meet professors from all around the world that are teaching different types of perspective subjects, not just in intercultural communication. So this was an amazing as well growth and networking opportunity. At the same time, I would say I'm really happy to see that professors from the last year, they already, I would say, become a family of Global Case Study Challenge, because we see that we have returning participants, returning professors that are bringing more students on board. So this really demonstrates that success and their result in learning result of our project as well. And
Yeah,
this year,
absolutely. Sorry.
yeah. And this year, definitely, the growing opportunity is to be able to, because it's a project, it's a very long-term project. Just for audience that are listening to us, basically, I would say definitely you started a bit earlier, but I joined the team, I would say in January, right? January, February. And since that moment, we are working and we are launching now. The kickoff date is 5th of October, subscription before 2nd of October, but kickoff day 5th October. And we were meeting weekly, constantly, and it's really amazing growth in terms of project management team, because it is global scale learning educational project.
Absolutely. And you know what? There is still one person missing. We're talking a lot about the learning from our students, but we are super happy because we're not only designing a tremendous learning journey for our students, but we are also this year for the first time embedding an educator certification program throughout the whole learning journey that we designed for the students. And with this, we are finally all of us are on stage, and Sveta Buko is joining now from Slovenia.
Hello, team.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Sveta. Hi.
It's a great honor for me to be a part of this wonderful live stream session today. I'm a newest team member, and I would like to tell you a story about how we decided to integrate this additional track, which is called the Educator Certification track. So what was happening as Barbara and Eithne were describing the first two amazing successful editions of the project, they also mentioned that it was evolutionary. It was never stale. It always evolved with the needs and the expectations and feedback of the professors who were participating, and also from the students who were participating. Then, as we were building up and preparing for the kickoff of the third edition of the Global Case Study, we also had an honor to present at the conference of the International Association of Cross-Cultural Management, where we had a chance to reflect and conceptualize all the three editions of the project. After the presentation at that global conference, and it was a virtual conference, right after the lockdown, where a lot of professors were forced to move online, were forced to teach online, and we got a lot of questions from different types of educators, human resource managers, from experts who are moving their programs online. And the question was, how? How do you do that? Okay, how do you do that from the perspective of the didactics, online didactics? How do you engage your participants? How do you measure and evaluate the impact of the program? And of course, how you deliver, how you work together as a team. So we got all these questions and we figured, well, we definitely can share because we've got those three editions, we've got the best case studies, we've got the results too. And as Barbara and Eithne were commenting about the evolution, and Anna mentioned that it's a focused on the opportunity for students to learn, but also there's this huge group of educators from around the world who are taking part in this project and who are bringing their best experiences and best desires also to revolutionize their educational programs at their institutions. So we've put together the very, very interesting program for anybody who is interested in advancing their understanding of the online learning didactics, and rolled out the educational track. Educational certification track with 4 different modules.
Sveta, let me interrupt you because we really have to give a big applause because Sveta is leading the whole educator certification program with tremendous energy. And she came up with a 3-month full module program that we are all working in together. But it was definitely led by you, Sveta. And without you, that would not be possible. As we wouldn't have a page without you, Anna, our good Canvas course, right, Eithne?
Yes, absolutely.
It is definitely a team effort. And, often when we teach either on site or online, It's a lonely journey because we work with our students, but also this level of the peer review, the level of the input of interdisciplinary perspectives is something that often missing whenever we're teaching only with our students. So opportunity is twofold. First thing is to actually be a part of this amazing award-winning project and observe. Be in there behind the scenes, see how professors are working, how students are working, how it is set up online, how the interactive sessions are running, how things are organized in the synchronous and asynchronous learning. Observe. That second amazing component is an opportunity to get immediate feedback, structural feedback on the way you teach, you deliver your own feedback to different types of assignments, either synchronous or asynchronous. And then the next component is, of course, how do you manage interaction in the online environment? So as educators, a part of the certification cohort, you'll observe, then you'll get the feedback of how to engage students more. And of course, the last component is how to measure the impact. As the last module about the assessment, we'll do both formative and summative assessment of all the components of the content delivery in the new dynamic online educational endeavor. So that's what we got.
So it's basically a one-stop shop for your online learning.
Yeah, and it's a tremendous, great journey. I think, Anna, I'm not sure what you think about that, but growing alongside such a big project, that's what I believe makes it very unique, because there are many certification and virtual facilitator trainings out there, but doing it hands-on, whether you have your own students participating or not, because that doesn't matter. If you want to participate in our educator certification program, you're going to have 300 students that you're going to work with. You're going to participate and really see how we are doing it behind the scenes and grow alongside the whole students' learning experience throughout 3 months. And I really believe that's a unique point for our program. Anna, if I think about your experience last year and this year, what do you think is for you the most interesting aspect about the educator certification program?
I think I would call it as well as our program called Global Case Study Challenge. I think it's a positive challenge as well for educators, as you were mentioning. It's not just a challenge of resolving case study and finding the common language and work through diversity, intercultural diversity in groups, but it's also a challenge for educators. Because today, as we are saying, we are having a difficult times and seeing professors, educators, trainers, having a difficult time educating online because we have to switch online. And this project, I remember last year when we had to switch suddenly online, I was so confident. And not just because I already had some classes online, because I knew it is possible. It is possible to have a virtual conference with 300 students and everything will work smoothly. So why not to have it with 30 of your students, right? So this is the opportunity. It's definitely a challenge, but an opportunity that nobody can miss. If I would be outside of creators, I would definitely as well consider, because no matter how confident and professional you are in online teaching, you always will take new learning insights from the work of other professors and through the discussions and as well through the didactical material.
Yeah, and we have a few comments already in the chat. So, hey, Ruth is connecting. I know Ruth is connecting from Africa. Suhail is connecting there as well. Thanks a lot for your hello. And also to everybody out there, don't be shy. We're going to be online for 20 more minutes, but already ask your questions. Leave us your comments as well. What is your experience about international and maybe virtual teaching projects? How do you deal with them and how do they become successful? Let us know your thoughts and also provide us with your questions, please. Thanks a lot. Eithne, let me ask you one question. So for you, for example, also participating with your intercultural management students, what was your experience as a professor supervising and coaching the students groups while we were in the challenge last year?
Well, I think last year, because the group was so big and diverse, it was even more exciting to engage with the students throughout the entire project. So, you know, we know that a lot of times at business schools, we have intercultural communication courses that are taught that are very theory-based. And we were really concerned that we wanted to have the students engage in practical experience, and this, you know, meets recent research findings in terms of how you can best develop intercultural competence. And I think I could really see that throughout the project, because as well as all of the positive interactions, I mean, Barbara, maybe we'll talk about this again later, but because we had such a diversity of students, we also had students participating who were going through periods of social unrest. If you remember, we had universities closing down. We had project teams where all of a sudden, you know, there was no access to internet. Some of students were dropping out. And I mean, this was a real life experience for our students to engage with people who are experiencing extremely difficult times, social unrest, and also to discuss it. So they got really a much deeper insight into what was going on across the world. And I think otherwise, you know, they would have heard about this in the news, but they would really not have had the possibility to get the personal views and impressions. Incredibly
if they
valuable.
had heard about it in the news, right? If they even had heard about it in the news, because I remember exactly, Eithne, last year we had the Chilean situation,
Yes.
to call it like that, and also the situation in Barcelona with the riot. It was really challenging for us as educators to follow up with the students properly, because in Chile there were social unrest that were horrible, really bad things going on. The same was happening in as similar things, but different causes happening in Barcelona, and all of that during that project. And I believe that many of the students would not even have heard about that, because depending on where you're staying, the media covers or not covers the social conflicts going on, right? And therefore, I think also, let's pick up on what Vincent is saying. Thanks a lot, Vincent. There's a comment, a wonderful cooperation across borders. Probably the main advantage of online learning, not only teaching in the cloud or in the seventh heaven. Absolutely. Thank you so much for the congratulations. Yeah, we must say we are really super proud. And what I have prepared here is, Eithne, our last, oh, it's not open. I wanted to show a picture where we were yesterday with the minister. Let me go for that, because it was a good moment for us, investing so much time, because you can imagine that a teaching project of that scale is really a tremendous work, that we are very thankful that we got a beautiful recognition yesterday with the excellence in teaching digital transformation. So also for all educators out there, digital transformation, of course, is something that we really need to think about. And coming back to our educator certification program, Sveta, I also believe what we heard yesterday is that particularly also assessment in an online learning context is, for some of us, really the hardest part of it. Maybe you want to tell us a little bit, because you're so experienced with your background. What are your thoughts on online assessment in a virtual learning journey?
The way we would like to visualize this whole global case study project is, on one hand, for the students, in 180 degrees of the engagement and competency-based learning for them. As Vincent mentioned, it's the learning opportunity and the experiential experience where they actually learn by doing. At the same time, additional 180 degrees, so that we make it 360 degrees for all, is of course the experience of professors who are participating in the project, right? Whenever you teach online, the best quote to define what's going on is, it's not about what we teach, it's about what they learn. And often, caught in the moment, we forget about this because we focus on the content. What are we delivering? Right? And of course, we do use the information technologies to deliver this material. But the key focus is, and we constantly discuss this within our team, as instructional designer, the question is, how do we structure the information and the content that is delivered online? And what's the major difference from the online delivery to the on-site delivery? The truth is that didactics is completely different. The philosophy is completely different. And this is not the first year that the world is going online. There are materials, there are instruments, there are repositories, there are experiences in the case studies that help professors reflect and design a program that is relevant specifically to your culture and to your institutions. It's not one size fits all. It's not like this. It's about you knowing what's out there, getting the very tailored, specific feedback on your concept and philosophy of teaching, whether it is experiential learning, or whether it is the instruction-oriented learning, or it is the inquiry-based learning. Depends on how you teach. We are all different. It's very clear. We also come from different parts of the world. But the question is, what's the outcome? After you finish your course, or after you finish your HR onboarding program, or after you finish your consulting assignment online, you ask a question. So your participants, what did they gain, right? Is it only knowledge? Or is it also the attitudes that we are measuring and we are assessing? Or it's also the set of skills that are so necessary in the world, or also the tools that we're using for that. So when we were doing the concept of this educational certification program, we included all four. And so the measurement is also based on basically conceptualizing this whole teaching process and teaching philosophy, which is based on the content, on the interactions management, which is very important part of the engagement management, and of course the assessment as well. That's what makes it a really wholesome approach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Eithne, what is your experience? You have been also teaching online for many years, as all four of us. When it comes to online assessment, and particularly now, we were all going through the online assessment for everybody. So what are your takeaways as a professor?
Well, I think one of the things in terms of assessment is it's really good to have a variety of assessment. I think that's also why we've tried to incorporate a variety of assessment into our Global Case Study Challenge. So we set up different assignments for the students to engage with, and I think students and learners really appreciate, or also people in training programs really appreciate having a diversity of activities to work through. So I think that's one of the things that's really important, providing different means of assessment. I think, we are encouraging students to engage in, for example, video reflections. One of the things that we're incorporating into our assessment is also giving, video feedback. And I think feedback is a really critical element that we will deal with a lot with our educators. And so in terms of assessment, I think we've also grown over the past couple of years and included new types of assessment to meet our learners' needs or our participants' needs.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot for elaborating on that. Out there, I do see that there are viewers. I see your likes, I see your hearts on LinkedIn. Thanks so much for that. But also your questions. Don't just type them into the window. If you're on YouTube, there might be some technical challenges. So, or you drop it privately, or you go to LinkedIn and leave us your questions there. So the certification program is starting, or the whole Global Case Study Challenge is starting the 2nd or the 5th of October. So very, very soon. If you're interested, there is still the possibility to jump on board, like last minute onboarding, we do that, but you need to be fast and definitely fast. And you know what? I just wanted to pick up on something that we were discussing the last time during our team meeting. They are usually incredibly funny. So also you're going to have a lot of fun with us during the educator certification program, because last time Eithne was saying that she recognizes some similarities between us as a group of 4 educators and a certain band. Our audience a little bit if they know who we're talking about.
Can you guess?
I guess, yeah. People are moving like they were moving, or we try to do that now. Let's see if we get a comment in. Who are we as a group of 4 educators? Similar to, if you think about the band.
Yeah, and maybe also think of our general age group. That might also give a hint.
Yeah, because definitely if we have our students listening, especially like my students that are in their 2nd, 3rd year of bachelor degree, they probably are not familiar with this group. Probably not.
So, well, let's see. Maybe we give them a hint through a little bit of a music play. What do you think? Should I do that?
Oh, that's a great idea. Have you got some music ready?
I have it ready, of course.
Okay.
The text and the music selection has nothing to do whatever our message should be, right?
No.
It's just to give you a hint.
Spice Girl.
Let's see. Our comments in now. I see 2 comments. Let's fantastic. Jasmine got it. Fantastic. Jasmine, you're our heroine. And we like to call ourselves now not Spice Girls, but Spice Ads. That was Eithne's suggestion there. We're going to look, well, just as a reminder for those who cannot remember who the Spice Girls were, now you might see some similarities. Look at that. It's clear, right? And you also see, apparently, we are lacking a team member, right? Let's look into that. Who is approaching us for the next edition? Who wants to become part of the core team?
Yes, great.
But that's a bit exclusive, isn't it? Sorry. I'm going back on that.
You're gonna. Well, we're always open. We have an open mind for everything. I think that's the key thing.
I have one comment to make, team. It's really, I think all of the participants of our live stream is already sensing the energy coming from the 4 of us. This is usually how our online meetings are conducted, with a lot of humor, very seriously, very result-oriented, but at the same time with a lot of positive energies that really creates amazing results at the end. What we're saying is that we're walking the talk. We do a lot of things online as a very intercultural group of educators from very, very diverse backgrounds. And we're also diverse geographically, and we are cross borders, cross countries, from different interdisciplinary perspectives. And as we are working together, we're also learning and reflecting. We'll be posting some tips from our experience as well on our LinkedIn page of Global Case Study Challenge LinkedIn. And we would like to basically conceptualize this and also record so that later it could be used as a handbook for virtual cross-border intercultural educators teamwork.
That's so cool. Yeah, and I'm just picking up on what Jasmine is saying. She bets that the training is spicy and juicy. I think we might be picking up on that, Anna. Maybe we see where to integrate that on the webpage.
Definitely. We need that feedback as well. But I wanted just to add to what Sveta was sharing is that can you imagine, listeners probably are feeling the energy, but can you imagine that I never met in a real life Eithne and Sveta, but we have been working since January together, and it feels like we've been working in the same office for half a year and more. It really feels like that, but I never see them. So it's real virtual team in presence, in implementation and success as well, because it's really things got done, right?
Yeah. And you know what? I think that relates a lot to one of my guests 3 weeks ago, Cassie Laborie was saying. Cassie Laborie is a fantastic virtual master trainer from the United States. And I had her here as a guest on my LinkedIn show. We were talking about spectacular online training. And she said, because we always face the critiques, virtual, you cannot create connection. It's not meaningful, blah, blah, blah. And she said, as we also totally believe, it's about if we want to create connection. And definitely the moment that we have the predisposition of creating connection and being open also to the opportunities, but also the challenges of virtual teaching, it becomes extraordinary. Picking up a little bit on my virtual space hero claim, extraordinary memorable virtual events. But ladies, before Spice Ads team, let's pick up on what Vincent was asking us. So Vincent was asking us, could we expand on how we moved from a traditional online teaching to a deliberate online learning? So maybe let me ask you, throw the ball to, on my side, she is here, Eithne. What would you answer?
So how did we move from traditional online to traditional online to deliberate online learning? I'm not really, I would like to think about what traditional online teaching actually is. I would hope that we went straight from deliberate online teaching to deliberate online learning. So we really did think about the concepts behind what we were doing. And yeah, if I could think about, how exactly we did that. I mean, first of all, we started, as with all educators, we did a lot of research, we engaged in practice ourselves, we engaged with a community of educators and learners to really find out what was valuable. And then we took those lessons and we tried. And through trial and error, I think that's how we have developed. And in terms of the online learning, we really engaged. We got feedback from our students regularly throughout the program, and also at the very end. Some of the students wrote reflection reports where they really, after having participated in the 2 months, they took the time to think about, what they had learned, what they had achieved, what maybe issues they had, what could have been better, and we incorporated that. So I think that's really, if we're talking about deliberate online learning, that's how we try to facilitate it.
Yeah. Sveta, what would you like to add? What is for you deliberate online learning? What elements would you incorporate, or what is important for you?
Right. I also think I come from American online educational tradition, and in the last 2 decades, United States of America have published a lot of reports. I would recommend the Sloan Foundation reports about the online teaching and learning, where educators looked into the adult learning, online learning, and the result orientation. These were some of the key themes. There was a lot of discourse, especially about a decade ago, about the quality of online learning, about training of professors for teaching online. So now looking at the post-COVID-19 world, where a lot of the people were thrown into online teaching, where it wasn't their choice, where a lot of us maybe used bits and pieces of online Moodle platforms and uploaded the materials here and there, did a few Zoom meetings, but that's not integrated online teaching. That's basically a trial, really, or like just an experiment. What we are talking about, Vincent, I really like the word deliberate. Is it deliberately reconceptualizing delivery of the material and the preparation of the professor or educator or human resource manager who is delivering this material, and integrating the concept of understanding of what competences are being developed as a part of the educational endeavor. Not only about the knowledge, but about the competency through the experience. And that's the move. And I think a lot of us have faced this during the lockdown, where we had to teach online. And the most amazing component is when students deliver at the end. When we look at the assessment, we'll look at the initial diagnostic assessment, then both the formative and summative assessment, qualitative and quantitatives, and you can see that the competences are being developed, whether you're sitting in front of the screen or whether you're sitting in the classroom as well. And that's what makes a big difference, because then you realize that it's about what they learn. It's not about what we teach.
Absolutely. And it's for Sveta, do you see this is for all of you out there, this is a standard situation when Sveta starts to talk about the educator certification program. We are like, because she has all that insight with the tremendous experience that she is bringing into our team. That is just amazing. So go down to our webpage, globalcasestudychallenge.com. Super easy to remember, globalcasestudychallenge.com. Have a look at the educators program and think about joining, but don't think for too long, because we're starting already next week. So don't forget about that. Do it today. We're going to post the link also later on. Maybe Anna, can I ask you also as a last question for you? What is deliberate online learning for you? What would you say is that?
To answer this question, I think I would approach it from the perspective of teaching philosophy as well. Do we teach or by instruction, or or learning by instruction that is usually a traditional, whether like on-site or online as well, or teaching by discovery or learning by discovery. It's what a global case study challenge is. Students are learning by discovery of intercultural teamwork, on diversity teamwork, on virtual tools, and so on. So I would say deliberate teaching, deliberate learning would be including as well working from the perspective of learning and teaching by discovery as well. And this is definitely requires much more conceptualization behind the scene, even though it looks like very easy from maybe from the outside. It's a lot of steps you need to think about to take participants to arrive to those skills and those attitudes that we are talking about, that we want them to get in the end of the day.
Absolutely. And I think it's fantastic. I'm just picking up on what Vincent is saying here again. Thanks a lot for the comments. Sveta, exactly what I mean. Moving from emergency remote teaching, ERT, what we did during the lockdown, to online learning, being learner-centered. Exactly. And with this Spice Ads team, we already came to the end of our live stream. It was a tremendous pleasure for me having the whole GCSE team here. And before we stop, I think I'd love to have one last round of maybe a word or two words about the energy or why people should join our Global Case Study Challenge or the Educators Program. Is that possible?
I can start.
I just use now a combination of GCSE and virtual space here. Become a hero of the virtual space and join our program, whether as an educator joining the program with your students or the educator certification program. It's tremendous, and you definitely will have a tremendous benefit of it. Sveta, handing over to you, which you're down there.
Yes, it's a transformation through the conceptualization of what you want to do as an educator or a consultant or a HR manager who is delivering this online. You would be able to transform yourself. Take time to think, receive the peer feedback, and also observe the amazing award-winning experience, which is starting in October and finishing in December. So it's also time-bound. So by the end of December, it's all going to be done. Join us. We'd be happy.
So maybe I can cut in, because Sveta, that's exactly what I would have added, is that it's really I think a transformational educational experience, a learning experience. And one of the reasons to join is also to engage with practitioners, educators, consultants who are a community of people interested in providing excellent online training and education.
And from my side to add, I would say that join this amazing positive and encourage challenge for students and educator, and we definitely will take you outside of your boundaries.
Absolutely. And with that, Vincent is closing, which is fantastic. It's a challenge-based learning. And it's challenge-based not only for your students, but it's also challenge-based for yourself. And I think that's what makes this program very different from other programs who are not embedded in such a long learning journey as ours. With that having said, ladies, Spice Ads team, I'm giving you some music while I'm going to invite you to the backstage where a virtual cocktail is awaiting for you. I'm coming immediately when closing down the stage. So as you might imagine, there is only one song for you to leave dancing the stage, right? And Anna, I'm trying to have it really full volume. Let's see.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you, virtual space.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much to everyone out there for following Virtual Space here on LinkedIn and on the different social media channels. And also make sure to follow the Global Case Study Challenge, a tremendous learning journey for students and for professors, as you can see. We're going to post further links into the comment section of this live stream, so you can just click on it and have a look at what is going to happen during the Educators program and also during the challenge itself. With that having said, we are already at the end, and as an outlook, don't miss next Friday's Virtual Space Hero LinkedIn Live. I'm having with me Anna from Miro, and we're going to talk about virtual collaboration, also a tool that we're going to use in the Virtual Case Study Challenge as a collaboration tool for students and for professors. And for now, I also want, of course, a little bit of music when I'm leaving the stage. So I'm going to have my small trailer, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next week on Friday. Become a hero of the virtual space. Don't miss these possibilities. Bye.